Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another show. Obviously, today is going to be Tuesday, February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. We got a good show today. Good show today. Some good topics to cover, some serious topics to cover. Before we get started, make sure that you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. Click that bell, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a stream. Now, we got a lot to talk about. So as far as the Super Bowl, as far as the ratings have dropped, which is very surprising. There's a sports betting epidemic going on, and how we're moving forward as far as with content on the channel, how we'll be heading into college basketball and March Madness and all that quick stuff. Before I get started, give a quick shout out to the Rich Gang, quick shout out to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers, as we dive into this. I want to get started with sports betting, right? I think that's where we'll start. We'll start with sports betting. It's been very, very not only interesting, but it's been one of those situations where when you look at all the opportunities that people have to gamble, and not just even from a point of sports and things like that. Even from, just being able to, go out to the casino and, go out, relax, enjoy yourself, hang out with the friends, hang out with the family, all that kind of stuff, or just go by yourself. There's really no specific situation where, you're tied to go to the casino with individuals. But I would say it's a little bit more of a, for me at least, when you've got friends around you and things like that, it makes it a little more, makes it a little bit more harder for you to make bad decisions unless you're just around, bad influences. Now, some people try to save you. But with that said, I do want to go ahead and get into this story. It is very interesting. Sports betting is now an epidemic, and I think it's something that we all need to talk about and discuss. And let's go ahead and get into it. So yeah, sports betting is an epidemic and gambling addiction. Let's get into this video, and then let's mine it out. Let's mine it out.
For that crisis hasn't happened, but the last 5 years have given rise to a surge in young gambling addicts. Joe Rosillo, now 26, says his problem started in high school. Then in 2022, sports betting apps came to his home state of New York.
What impact did that have?
It had a big impact. I've worked my whole life, so I got a check every week, but it would deposit right into whatever app I was using.
Were you interested in the game itself?
I am a sports fan, but as the years grew on, you become less interested in the game itself and more interested in the result.
And who needs a bookie when a fresh bet is just a swipe away?
You can wake up in the middle of the night, take your phone out, set an alarm for a match, maybe overseas or something like that. I would place a bet on anything, anywhere, at any time.
So let me stop it there for a second. I will say this is huge because I remember a time where, obviously we didn't have the sport books, right? You had to go into the casino, or you had to call a friend, right, to put in the bet for you or something like that. And before New York or any of these other cities, were granted, the sports book privileges, people had to go down to the casino, right? You had to go down there, place your bet, or you had to go to like an OTB, which is an off track betting, something like that. And it took a lot before, right? It wasn't as easy. And so obviously with the sports betting apps like DraftKings, FanDuel, things like that, Prize Picks, whatever it is out there that people are using, it took a while before they became available. And so obviously, as Wingman said, it's became more so about the outcome opposed to it actually being about the sports. And that's kind of sad because, like I said, I've been a long fan of sports. I mean, ever since I can remember. And for me, it's been about the game. It's always been about having that excitement as far as watching your favorite star players play and go out there and ball out. And it's sad, but it seems that's what sports sports betting has created. But we'll keep going. We'll keep going as we get back to it.
At family functions. He'd delete the apps one day, reinstall them the next. To help get clean, a tech downgrade.
This is the phone I use on a daily basis. You can't gamble on this
Say
phone.
not too many apps on that phone, huh?
No.
I think
Went back to
people
the
who aren't
flip
familiar might
phone.
think of the typical gambling addict as, the middle-aged guy and a windbreaker who's betting his retirement savings.
It's more prominent in the younger generation, I think, than ever. The sports books and the commercials and the leagues themselves are making it look so cool to gamble and risk your money.
There are distinct signs of trouble. According to a Siena College poll, which we can report for the first time now, of the young men wagering online, nearly half feel they're betting more than they should. In the 5 years since...
Wow. So, when you have these kind of numbers and when you look at the opportunities that are presented from a point of just from a point of accessibility, right? When you've got people depositing their whole paychecks into, sports betting apps, and when you've created that atmosphere where someone can gamble 24 hours a day, that's something that can be very, very addictive if it's in the wrong hands. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. This kid had to downgrade to a flip phone. That's crazy to me, right? And obviously we talk about, addiction and things like that as far as, how people understand that it's a disease and some people just can't help it. But, at what point do you have to take some kind of accountability and realize like, hey, like it's not about the device. It's about you and your limits and what you're willing to push. And, that's kind of why why I always tell people, we always make jokes and stuff, but I always tell people, never bet the house, right? Never bet the house, never put all your money on a game, never put all your money believing that someone's going to do something or nothing like that. Always do your due diligence and, gamble responsibly. It's nothing different from drinking and going out there and having a good time. Just like you should drink responsibly, you should also gamble responsibly. But we'll get back into it. We'll get back into it. I'm screwing up here. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. There it is. All right, here we go.
New Jersey legalized online sports gambling, calls to the state's problem gambling helpline nearly tripled. The largest caller demographic, 25 to 34.
25 to 34.
Health emergency happening, and we're not talking about it yet.
Harry Levant is a gambling addiction therapist and leading voice on the public health impacts of online sports betting. A decade ago, Levant was a trial lawyer whose gambling addiction was so fierce he used client money to fuel his habit, leading to his disbarment. In his current career, he's noticed today's desperate gambler looks and acts a lot different.
I have patients who gamble in the shower. I have patients who gamble before they get out of bed in the morning. I have patients who gamble while they are driving. There are no guardrails. We scientifically know.
Listen, gambling while you're in the shower, gambling while you're driving. I think this is the reality of it. And I'll tell you this, I started seeing people. I knew that something was wrong myself personally when I started seeing people that I knew had no real idea as far as sports, had no real idea as far as players. But next thing you know, they're talking about parlays and they're talking about bets and they're talking about money lines and all this other stuff on Facebook and social media. And I'm like, this person has never talked about sports a day in their life. And now they're talking about 8-leg parlays and 16-leg parlays and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, what the hell is going on? And it's really interesting. It's really interesting because, we do predictions over here and all that stuff. But when I do my predictions, it's more so geared towards just, potentially who we think or who I think is going to win. It's never in the sense of, let me go ahead and drop this prediction because we're going to bet or, we're going to go out here and get everybody to put money on these games. It's merely for the fact of, okay, This is who, I think is going to win. This is what the information is. And then obviously we go from there. But, it really makes me start to question as far as how I need to, start changing potentially how I handle content, because I don't want to be a part of such a problem. I don't want to be a part of the issue, especially if there is a true epidemic going on, which is what it seems like. But we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. Here we go.
No, the human brain, the risk reward system for a young man isn't fully formulated until you're 25.
Where are the young men getting the money to gamble like this?
I have patients, some of whom are college students, who have gambled federal student loan money. I have young patients who have gambled away inheritances.
Levant showed us what gambling today entails. It was an NFL Sunday, though on DraftKings, the betting options extended far beyond football.
Soccer, basketball, hockey, motorsports, rugby, volleyball.
And there was tennis.
Pedro Rodenas playing Alfredo Perez in a challenger qualifying match in Charlottesville.
Those are two names I've never heard before. Who is betting on this match? Two guys who are nowhere near the top 100.
So, yeah, I mean, you see where this is going. And, I think the reality is this. I'll tell you guys a quick example of how crazy it's gotten. So, back when I was betting last year, for those who don't know, I stopped betting last year. And it wasn't because, of money. It wasn't because of it being a problem. I just said that, I don't want to bet anymore. I don't want to put myself into a situation where I'm stressed out while I'm streaming these games because I got money on the line. And, ever since then, my stress level has been down. I've been enjoying sports better and things like that. So that's one part of it. But one thing I did notice, what really, really threw me off, is that he's right. There's so many different games. And I remember being up late, all the basketball's over, all the football's over. But at 1 a.m, you've got Korean basketball league going. You've got the Australian basketball league going. And you can bet. You can bet. And some of these people don't even know who the hell these guys are or how good the team's been playing or any of that stuff. They haven't done any research. But they're looking at the odds and they're saying, you know what, I'm going to bet my money on whatever team, whatever international team. I don't know any of the damn players, but I'm going to bet my money. It's sad. It's really sad. And I feel for the people that have gotten trapped in this system because shout out to Chuck. He said, DraftKings won't leave me alone. With the emails, they want me to come back so bad, they're offering free money. And, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. It's no different from the casino. You guys know I'm a fan of Vegas, but I'm a fan of the entertainment value of Vegas, not specifically the gambling part of it. But it's the same thing that casinos in Vegas do, right? You go out to Vegas, they give you the free food, they give you the free drinks, right? They'll even comp you a hotel. But they do all that to get you to come back to the casino, to get you to play in the casino, to lose your money. And, they know the longer that you stay in Vegas, the more opportunities they have to take your money, right? You feel like you're going to get lucky. You feel like you're going to win. And they've taken that and they've bottled it into an app, into sports books. And it's really unfortunate because people don't understand that. People don't have the mindset for it. And it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough for some of these guys to, to break and really, get through that cycle essentially. So, obviously if you're having this issue, if you're having a problem with gambling and things like that, make sure that you do essentially, go get some help. If you need counseling, if you need therapy, seek it because this is a big problem. It is a big problem. And, it definitely seems that it's becoming an epidemic and, it's going under the radar in the guise of entertainment. So something to keep your eyes on, if you got friends and you've got family out there who are gambling and different things like that, and you feel like they're doing it too much, or if you feel like there's too much going on and things like that, you might want to, talk to them about it, check on them, make sure that, they're on the up and up and see if they need help and then, go from there. but it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. It's definitely something that we need to talk about, and it's important to realize all levels of it, right? All levels of it, because when I seen this, like I said, most of this I'm just reacting to it now. I seen a clip of it on Twitter, and I said, all right, let me go and check this out, and then we'll talk about it. But it's a lot. It's a lot, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose. I think that's what we need to talk about. I think that's what we'll come to the conclusion of. If you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know how to manage your money, then seek proper help. Go out there, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapist, somebody in your family hopefully can help you out, so that you don't run into this brick wall of not being able to pay your bills, run into this brick wall of creating issues in your household because you're addicted to gambling or sports betting. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sports betting, potential epidemic and leading to gambling addiction. All right, let me go to hop into the chat, and then we'll get into the next segment. Shout out to Jesse James. What up, yo? What's going on with you? Teddy House says, Jay, do you do baseball games? Yeah, we'll get into some baseball. Megan says, lived in Vegas and was married to a gambling addict for 20 years. Yeah, I lived in Vegas too, Megan. Like I said, I love Vegas, right? Vegas is great if you're responsible and if you know what to do and if you know what you're doing. If you're not responsible, if you're not good with money, if you're easily influenced, then stay the hell out of Vegas, because it's not good. It's not good for you. Shout out to Jerry. What up, man? Jerry in the house. Jesse says it's Vegas at the touch of a button. Yes, it is. At the touch of your phone. Shout out to you, Jesse. What's going on with you? Don C in the house. Megan says, then they run to the casino to hedge their bets. And that's another one. People don't realize that. Like, some of these guys, they're losing money on these, on the FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever they use. And if they're local to a casino, it's like, all right, damn, I lost $2,000 on the sports betting app. Let me go down to the casino. Let me try and make that money back. And then they end up losing even more money. So, it creates a chain reaction, and a lot of people don't realize that. And it's just something that they've got to work through. It's something that, people have to figure out, people have to be aware of. And, we got to teach people how to, if they're going to engage in this kind of stuff, to use it responsibly. And I think that's important. Shout out to you, Jacqueline. What's going on with you, Jacqueline, in the house? Omar says, did you have high blood pressure like me? I stopped betting too. Listen, I think it was one day. I remember that it had nothing to do with football either. I think I was betting on like college. And I had one real big. And I think I won like $2,000. It was a ridiculous bet. It was like, I think around like plus 1,500 odds. The team was down by like 10 with like 6 minutes left in the second half. College basketball is first and second half. And I ended up winning like $2,000 off of like short money, And then I dropped 1,000 on another game, and this was to win like 15 grand. And so I dropped 1,000, and I just remember at that point, I sat there and I was like, for a brief moment, the team that I bet on was losing. And I was so enamored by the fact of winning this 15,000 that I started feeling my blood boiling, because I knew they were going to lose. And it was at that point where I sat there and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it no more. It started to take away the love of the game, the love of sports that I have. And so that's why I stopped betting last year. Nobody knows that story until now. I'm telling that story now because obviously we're on this subject. But that's why I stopped betting last year. It was because I bet $1,000. I had won $2,000. I should have just stopped. But I bet another $1,000 on another team to win 15 grand. And, I just remember how that made me feel at that moment. And I was like, I don't want to feel like that again. Never again. And that's why I stopped. Shout out to you, Omar. Jesse says, I feel like it's what the government wants. Poor and rich. Look at anything addictive. They tax the hell out of alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, sports, betting, energy drinks. Now I've heard they're trying to tax out of Airbnbs. Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, whatever brings in a ton of money is eventually going to be taxed, especially if it's in the realm of fast cash, right? Casinos, fast cash, sports betting apps, fast cash, Airbnbs, fast cash. So all that kind of stuff. It's definitely once it blows up because it starts off small. They'll do the whole, all right, we're going to let you come in and then we're going to tax it at this rate. And then they do it for a certain amount of time, right? And then they go look at the books. They're like, all right, well, we only made so many millions and you guys made billions. Well, we need to increase this or we're going to regulate it even more. And that's how the game goes. That's how the game goes. And that's obviously the, behind door stuff, behind closed door stuff. But yeah, that's just the reality of it. Just the reality of it. Shout out to Jonas, says, I love chasing that money, honey. Shout out to you, Jonas. You got to learn discipline. What you can spend and what you can. Yeah, without a doubt, right? You have to know and understand what you can play with and what you shouldn't play with. If you feel like, hey, this is the mortgage money or the rent money, right? And you haven't paid the rent or the mortgage yet, and you're like, I'm going to take this money to go win more money, you're already lost. You've already failed because you're going to lose it. That's just the reality of it. You should never have in the back of your mind that I'm going to take the rent or the mortgage money down to the casino or use it on the sports betting app because you already failed. And if nobody's telling you that, Jay is going to tell you that. You have failed if you choose to make those kind of decisions. And we see it time in and day in and day out. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people get trapped up that way and they end up owing more than what they have. And, there was a saying for that. Back in the day. You guys know, you probably watched movies. I've heard it in real life. I've seen it on movies as well. They call that a degenerate gambler. Don't be that individual. Don't be that person. Make smart decisions. We'll wrap up the rest of these comments and then we'll get into the next segment. Just George says, yeah, it's pretty serious sports betting. Gonna be doing March Madness. So yeah, you guys know I love college basketball. We'll be getting into college actually tonight. We'll be doing North Carolina and Syracuse. And then March Madness. We know, and I think it's good that I'm doing this video now because we're heading into March Madness, which is one of the top months when it comes to sports betting, without a doubt. And once again, right, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not telling anybody that they shouldn't be betting. I'm not telling anybody that they should be betting. What I am saying is if you're going to do it, understand the risk, understand what the hell you're doing, and do it responsibly. Because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see anybody be addicted to something. And I don't want to see anybody be affected by something that's going to ruin their life. That's the reality of it. That's the message that I'm trying to get across with this content right now. So if I can help one person, then hopefully, I've done my job. At least one person. Jonas says, I lose what I would spend on myself, but not the money I need for my wife and babies. I'll never bet that at all, no matter what is at stake. It's a fact, man. That's a fact. Omar says, you lost a lot of weight since I first started watching your channel in 2022. Yeah, slim it down a little bit. I'm still big though. I still got the arms. They ain't went nowhere. I ain't skinny now. I still got the arms, yo. Shout out to you, Jack. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into this next segment here. We'll get into the next segment here. Next up is going to be the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the Super Bowl for a minute, right? We obviously know that the Chiefs are the champions, and that's the wrong one. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna get into the Super Bowl ratings. Now, we all had discussions as far as the Super Bowl and how people felt about it because the Chiefs were gone and the 49ers were gone, and we heard so many stories and so many people talking about how, I'm not going to watch it. It's going to be boring. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Well, the ratings don't lie. ladies and gentlemen. So either people are just talking garbage and they're full of shit, or the numbers are cooked. And obviously the numbers can't be cooked, because if they were, then the NFL will get sued, all that stuff, so forth and so on. So with that said, let's get into this one. So here we go. Super Bowl 58 sets TV ratings record with 123.4 million viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, the longest Super Bowl game also will go down as the most watched program in television history. According to Nielsen and Adobe Analytics, the Kansas City Chiefs' 25-22 overtime victory versus the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday averaged 123.4 million viewers across television and streaming platforms. That shattered last year's mark of 115.1 million for Kansas City's last play victory of Philadelphia Eagles, with 7% increase. And I'll tell you this right now. I know that it's right, because on this channel, we did double. Viewers. I'm making this smaller. We did double the amount of viewers that we did last year. I'm just trying to make this bigger for you guys. So here we go. It says the game was televised by CBS, Nickelodeon, and Univision, and streamed on Paramount Plus, as well as the NFL digital platforms. Nielsen also set a record 202.4 million watched at least part of the game across all networks, a 10% jump over last year's figure of 183.6 million. The CBS broadcast averaged 120 million. The network's previous mark for its most watched Super Bowl was 112.34 million for the 2016 game between the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. Some of the increase can be attributed to a change in the way viewers are counted. Nielsen began including out-of-home viewers in its ratings in 2020, but only from limited markets. The measurement expanded to all 50 states beginning this year. Sunday's game was only the second of the 58 Super Bowls to go overtime. The previous one was in 2017, when the New England Patriots rallied from a 28-3 deficit to beat the Atlanta Falcons, and that was a tough one. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people were mad about it. I remember that one. That was a crazy one. We'll wrap it up with I was managing my expectations, but I had a bit of hope that it would happen. CBS Sports Chairman Sean McManus said of Sunday's overtime session, which was set up when San Francisco kicker Jake Moody had an extra point blocked in the fourth quarter that kept it a 3-point game. I can't imagine the Super Bowl any better or more exciting than this. So yeah, listen, surprising, very surprising as far as the ratings there. Now, I think the expectations for this year's Super Bowl was huge, because obviously you've got, Brock Purdy coming in, Mr. Irrelevant, all that good stuff. I think that, creates a great narrative as far as going against the Chiefs. We understand that the Swifties now were involved, so that's going to bring in another level of, people watching because Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff. Chiefs already have, a huge fan base. Patrick Mahomes being the greatest quarterback in the league right now. He's going to draw numbers. He's going to draw viewers. So, yeah, there you go. The reality is this was the most watched Super Bowl in NFL history. And, when we look at the numbers, when we look at, the amount of the prices for the tickets, when we look at, everything that's went into, even from Taylor Swift's side and how she brought an additional $500 million in regards to the NFL market, it's really wild. And, you can definitely tell that obviously NFL is going towards the entertainment route because of, that's just the reality of it. When you watch the Super Bowl, all you see is entertainers and them having fun and exciting, and, they'll cut to the fans here and now, but I'm starting to realize that's what it's about. I realized this, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but I think it's really coming into fruition now as far as who the Super Bowl is really for. So when you see these ratings go up, people are not only paying attention to the halftime show, they're paying attention to the entertainers there. And, it's more of an entertainment event opposed to just a football game. So there you go. Super Bowl ratings, ladies and gentlemen. The best that it's ever been. 123.4 million viewers has set a new record. There it is. Let me hop into the chat before we get into our next segment. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Shout out to Megan, says never bet more than you can afford. All right, okay, moving to that. Says happy faces, don't chase it. Don't chase it. Yeah, man. Omar says, what is your secret? Listen, I'll tell you this. I've just switched my diet. You know, I don't eat as much fried foods anymore. I try to stay from fried foods. I try to leave bread alone. I mean, I love bread, but I try to leave that alone as much as possible. But nothing's better than a chicken sandwich. I gotta have a chicken sandwich every once in a while. I'll tell you this though. I kind of went against my own grain and I had a burger. I had a burger the other day and I felt so gross after I had it. That's how I knew my body was changing because I don't really eat garbage anymore. So, change your diet, get yourself some fruit in there and all that kind of stuff, drink more water, and the body eventually will figure itself out. Jack says, I think Niners should handle off the ball to should have handed off the ball to Christian McCaffrey on 3rd and 4th in overtime. Yeah. Listen, I sat there while I was streaming this game, and I said it. Why kick that field goal? There's so many different ways you can go about it, but I was like, why kick that field goal? Why put yourself in a situation when you don't have to? You could, because it obviously you kick the field goal, you take the points. I get it, but if you go for it on 4th and 4, right? You get that first down, you run more time off the clock. Now you can re-strategize. You can figure out exactly what you need to do moving forward. Then you can, score the touchdown, force them to go all the way back down the field and have to put up a touchdown as well. But you decided to kick a field goal, give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, who is without a doubt one quarterback that we know can come back down the field and find a way to score. And it's really unfortunate. Like I said, there's multiple different ways you can go about it. I think the reality is Kyle Shanahan definitely made some mistakes as far as, coaching when it came to overtime. It's just the reality of it. At the end of the day, Chiefs were just a better team when it counted. That's all. Happy faces, all these youngins saying Mahomes is better than Brady. Well, we knew that was coming. Happy faces, I honestly didn't watch it, but I think Taylor Swift brought in international viewership without a doubt. Even on the stream, we had tons of people pop in. We had Sweden. I don't remember we ever had a Sweden viewer. And I'm sure we have, but in the actual chat, we had, people from Sweden, people from London were watching the stream. So, that let me know that this Super Bowl is a little bit different because I started seeing different people from different places I haven't seen in the last, 4 years I've been doing this. So, it was huge. It was huge. And, hey, they set TV ratings and set records. So there you go. They didn't know the rules. None of them. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't know the rules to overtime, which is just crazy. It's kind of crazy. But hey, that's just it's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. You got to know what's going on. You got to know what you're doing, and it's got to make sense because unfortunately, nobody's going to tell you that. So we're going to go ahead and get to the next segment here, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to you guys for rocking with us. Let's get to the next slide here. Moving forward, we are moving forward content for the year. We're moving on to NCAA basketball, ladies and gentlemen. NCAA basketball. It's been a wild NFL season, and now we're moving on to basketball. So you guys normally know like what I like to do as far as content is sometimes I'll break into NBA and all that kind of stuff. But this time I'm really just gonna focus on college get through March Madness, and then we get into NBA. I don't want to convolute everything and create it into a situation where I'm going back and forth with NBA and college, because college is very how do I say this? It's very intuitive for me. And I say that because you really have to dig into all the players because there's so much going on. Like, I can tell you what's going on with the Bucks, right? I can tell you what's going on with the Heat. We know all the players. The difference between colleges, there's so many different schools and there's so many different players that you really don't know what the hell's going on, right? You know your certain schools and your top, D1 schools and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to, having a number 15 team go against a team that's not even ranked, you just don't know. So I definitely want to take some time to learn these guys. Definitely want to have, an exciting time with you guys calling these college games. So we're just going to focus on college for the next month and a half. I'll be streaming UNC as well as Syracuse tonight. That's going to be at 7. And yeah, we're gonna make it fun. We're gonna make it fun, have a good time, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys later for some college basketball. We'll start tonight with these Tar Heels and the Orange. I think this would be a good one to start with. I think it'd be a good one to start with, as should be exciting. Should be exciting. So Jay, you're gonna try streaming XFL, USL this offseason? I mean, if people really want it and it makes sense, like, when does that season start? Is it after March Madness? Is it like around April? So I mean, if it makes sense, I'll probably do it, because obviously we got the draft and all that kind of stuff, and I'm doing the draft this year. But yeah, it's something that we can figure out. Something that we can figure out for sure. So yeah. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to hop on real quick, give you guys, a quick update. Obviously, you guys know I split these up into clips for those who miss out on the stream, so they can catch them, and then we'll go from there. Either way, drop it in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel. Make sure you hit that like, hit that thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Happy Faces, Jay. Okay, the 30th. Is that in April? Because I mean, if it's in April, then yeah, I might consider it. Megan says, "Wish say Bonaventure would make it to the finals again." Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, you guys know FSU is my team. But FSU has been in a really weird spot in football and basketball. So hey. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, we always have a great time during March Madness. It's always fun. It's always crazy. It's always madness. And like I said, I'm excited for it. Even the girls NCAA basketball has been really heating up. So I want to try and incorporate that too. But we're definitely going to get into college basketball moving forward. End of March. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll figure it out. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all later tonight, 7 o'clock. UNC, Syracuse, Tar Heels, Orange, and we'll go from there. Make sure you're here, and we'll have a good time. You guys have a great day, or have a great rest of your afternoon, and I will see you all later at 7 p.m. Peace out.